The rain had soaked through Marcus Webb's threadbare jacket as he sat outside the veteran's shelter, waiting for it to open. At 73, his hands trembled slightly, not from the cold but from memories that never quite left him. A smell of diesel and jungle humidity still haunted him some mornings, even 50 years after Vietnam. Before we continue, I want to know, where are you watching this story from right now? Drop your country in the comments. It's amazing how these powerful moments connect us all, no matter where we are in the world. When the doors finally opened, Marcus shuffled inside, grateful for the warmth. He'd been sleeping rough for 3 weeks now, ever since his landlord had evicted him. His pension didn't stretch far enough anymore, and pride had kept him from his daughter's doorstep. She had her own family to worry about. Sergeant Davis stood near the intake desk, clipboard in hand, his pressed uniform a stark contrast to the worn faces around him. He was young, maybe 30, with the kind of rigid posture that came from textbook training rather than real understanding. His eyes swept over Marcus with barely concealed disgust. "Next," Davis barked, waving Marcus forward. Marcus approached slowly, his limp more pronounced after the long night outside. He carried a small duffel bag containing everything he owned, a change of clothes, his discharge papers, and a faded photograph of his unit. Davis wrinkled his nose. "When's the last time you showered, old man?" "Yesterday morning, at the gym on 5th, Marcus replied quietly, his dignity intact despite his circumstances. "Could have fooled me?" Davis made a show of fanning the air. "We've got standards here, even for people like you. Can't have the whole place smelling like a dumpster." He grabbed a plastic cup from his desk, filled it with water from a nearby cooler, and before Marcus could react, splashed it across his face and chest. The cold shocked Marcus's system. Water dripped from his gray beard as stunned silence filled the room. Other veterans stood frozen, witnessing the humiliation of one of their own. "There," Davis smirked. "Take a shower. Now get to the back of the line and come back when you're presentable. What happened next would change everything. But before I tell you, if you're feeling this story, hit that like button right now. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming." "That's enough, Sergeant." The voice cut through the room like a blade, quiet but carrying absolute authority. Everyone turned to see a man in a naval uniform, 4 silver stars gleaming on his shoulders. Admiral James Richardson had entered through the side door, unnoticed in the commotion. His face was stern, but his eyes held something else, recognition. Davis's face went white. "Admiral, sir, not another word." Richardson crossed the room in measured steps, stopping directly in front of Marcus. The Admiral's expression softened as he studied the older man's face. "Marcus Webb, 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines." "Silver Star recipient, is that you?" Marcus straightened slightly, water still dripping from his chin. "Yes, sir." Richardson's jaw tightened. "This man pulled me from a burning helicopter in 1972. I was a green lieutenant who's been shot down 15 miles behind enemy lines. He carried me through 3 miles of hostile territory with a bullet in his own leg." He turned to Davis, his voice dropping to a dangerous calm. "And you threw water on him like he was trash." The room held its breath. "Sir, I didn't know," Davis stammered. "You didn't ask." Richardson removed his jacket and draped it over Marcus's wet shoulders. "You saw a homeless veteran and decided he wasn't worthy of basic human decency. That's not the military I serve. You're relieved of duty here, effective immediately." Richardson turned back to Marcus, his voice gentle now. "How long have you been without a home, Marcus?" "Few weeks, sir." "Not anymore." Richardson pulled out his phone. "I'm calling the VA director personally. You'll have housing, health care, whatever you need. And Marcus?" He extended his hand. "Thank you for everything." "I never got to properly thank you." Marcus shook his hand, tears mixing with the water on his weathered face. Sometimes fate circles back, he thought, bringing dignity exactly when you need it most. Around them, veterans began to applaud. This story reminds us that every person we meet carries a history we cannot see, battles we cannot imagine, and a dignity that should never be taken away. The homeless veteran on the corner, the elderly person struggling at the store, they all have stories, they all have worth. If this touched your heart today, please subscribe to this channel. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. And most importantly, carry this lesson with you. Treat every soul you meet with the kindness they deserve, because you never know whose life they've saved, whose burden they've carried, or what hero stands before you in disguise. See you in the next story.